But I think overall, just setting the tone for what we want to do this year, and really just having a sense of urgency right now, not just waiting and going through a process and figuring out what we're going to do, but establishing who we are right now, and then working towards that goal. Really just the mindset of winning and winning right now and winning a certain type of way too. I think just having that dominated mentality is something that I took from the team meeting, and it starts now. It starts with the work that we put in. It starts with gelling and being cohesive and understanding what they're going to be asking from us, especially on defense. Just understanding the mentality, understanding the mindset and identity that we're going to establish, and really just chasing that throughout the offseason, throughout the training.
Are you the type of guy who gets fired up in April by a new coach? I know the answer to this, but I'm asking anyway.
I've been through it too many times, man. I'm gonna get excited when we win in November and December, and we change some things and get to the playoffs. That's when I'll be excited. But right,
As an extension of that, the next 5 months are going to be all about talk and hype and excitement and energy. How do you navigate that, knowing your mindset and not really being bought into all that stuff?
that don't got nothing to do with me. The only thing that has anything to do with me is the work that I put in, the work that we put in as a unit, and just taking the steps in the right direction. Other than that, the talk, the hype, and all that. I mean, hype don't win you no games. So I mean, I've been here a minute. I've been through the hype, and we don't win no games. So I mean, for me, if it's not about winning, quite honestly, I don't really care about it.
There are two sides to every football story. The Bears universe has been hyper-focused on the offensive side of that story, rightfully so. But the defense deserves love too. Let's not forget that the last time the Bears made it to the Super Bowl, it was on the backs of a ruthless defense. And the Super Bowl before that. And I'll tell you what, there are things cooking on the defensive side of the ball that are giving me goosebumps. So let's spend a little time exploring the other side of that story.
Don't you love that quote? Like, hype don't win no games. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's why people love Jalen.
Dude, that's the reason I wanted to use that quote. I was like, that's fucking awesome, dude.
And think about it, man. That guy's been through some shit. Like, he's been through like different coaches and schemes and coordinators, and like it just always ends in disaster for that poor guy. And here we go again. People are like, are you excited about this coaching staff? And he's like, which one is it, man? I'm on like coaching staff 7. Like, I'm just out here trying to like win some games. He's probably going nuts.
If you for those of you, if you watch the video of that quote, he's like smiling when he gets asked that question. He's like, the guy says like, I know your answer, but I want to hear you say, yeah, he's gone through. That's kind of the same. I think Cole Kmet kind of had a similar like, sort of, I've seen this, I've done this, same sort of.
It's weird, like, and the Bears themselves have seen this kind of thing, and the fans have too, like, right? Because when you had Matt Nagy and he was supposed to run the offense, and then they brought in Chuck Pagano, and you're like, oh, this guy was a good defensive coordinator. It didn't work out as a head coach, and now we have him again as a defensive coordinator. This could be really good, and it was. He was here for 2 seasons, and I think they were like 4th in the NFL in defense and like 8th in yards allowed. So he was pretty good. The offense couldn't, with Nagy, they couldn't get going, right? He never called plays before because he was under Andy Reid, and Andy Reid calls the plays. But you're like, hey, maybe enough of that is rubbed off that it could work. Never really worked. Then they drafted the wrong quarterback, and it's just like, the rest is history. So when they went that route the first time with hiring that ex-head coach used to be defensive coordinator, it worked out for them, and then even when they had Vic Fangio, right, he's been a head coach before, and now he's a defensive coordinator. Like that route has gone well for them, or good enough on the defensive side of the ball. I think they didn't. I mean, they promoted within when Tressman was the head coach, and then that didn't work out at all. So like, I think this route has worked for them in the past. Now, can they get the offense squared away? That part has never worked out for them, to be honest. But that's what you're kind of hoping for with Ben Johnson. So everybody's excited about that, and like you said, rightfully so. We've been talking about the Bears' offense and all the skill pieces. They used their first 2 first-round pick, or their first 2 picks of the 2025 draft, first 3, I guess, on the offense, 2 on the skill position players, right? And defense didn't come until Ruben Hippolyte. You know, so, and he's like, everybody's like, what? Who's this guy, right? But that was somebody that I think Dennis Allen would covet. He likes speed at the linebacker position. He likes power at the linebacker position, and that's kind of what Ruben Hippolyte gives you. So it's I think I'm excited for that defense. You know, Dennis Allen he's a little bit more blitz happy than Eberflus was. Eberflus only blitzed like 20% of the time. And Dennis Allen can get all the way, you know, like 30% of the time on occasion, right? 30% of the game he'll blitz. So not quite Brian Flores, but he does like to move guys around and show you different looks. So I think it'll be fun for Bears fans. I think they were so used to the vanilla of Eberflus's defense of like, let's rush that 4-man front. We'll drop Tremaine, you know, mostly into coverage. Sometimes he'll blitz, but you know, he's mostly doing that. And like, we're just going to try to like have them dink and dunk their way across the field to score, right? This will be a little bit more like high risk, high reward. But Allen has done this before. You know, he's been pretty good. So he's had top 10 pass defenses for, you know, whenever he's been a coordinator. So
I
I'm excited to see.
Yeah, there's an article. So I want to first shout out Abel for sending this article, and then I want to shout out Vicky's football takes, which I was not familiar with Vicky's football takes, but now thanks to Abel, I'm familiar with Vicky's football takes.
He's a good follow on X Vicky.
Yeah, he had a.
I'm sure Abel is too, but you know,
yeah, sure. Just kind of what got me sort of goosebumpy about the defense was reading about Dennis Allen's approach, and you're talking about, you know, all the blitzes. They said he does like 28 to 31%, you know, of blitzes when he was, I guess, at the high point of the Saints. But something as I was reading, which I mean, thinking about complexity on defense in a game where people have seen everything, it just got me kind of curious about just like, you know, if Eberflus's defense was vanilla, what makes Dennis Allen's defense seem exotic and confusing and challenging?
So I think Flus's defense was all about, hey, they know what we're gonna do. We know that they know what we're gonna do, but we're just gonna out execute them. You know, if we play sound football, we hustle, whatever the hits that thing stand for. If we do that, even if they know what we're gonna do, we think we can still beat them. We think we can still beat them to a spot, to the quarterback, to the football, whatever. We think we have the advantage. Dennis Allen is more smoke and mirrors, a little bit more disguising coverages, you know, blitzing. Oh man, he loves to blitz slot corners. And so Kyler Gordon, I think you'll see him really a lot. I know he was all over the field with Flus. I think you'll see him really explore the space from Step Brothers. He'll explore the space from wherever he is.
Yeah. Do you feel like we have the personnel to run them off? The sense I got from this article is, Ficky called it scheme over star. So it's really just kind of how Dennis Allen sort of schemes it. I mean, do you feel like kind of what you've seen of the Bears defense, what you know about the players?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know. Dennis Allen likes big athletic freaks that he feels like he can manipulate, right? Like he's not looking for like the slower, savvy guy, you know? I mean, Tremaine Edmonds is a physical freak. Sweat's obviously a freak, right? They drafted a cornerback who's super athletic. Jalen Johnson, super athletic. So, and Kyler Gordon, obviously. So we've got players that fit that. Then you got like your TJ Edwardses and your Andrew Billings who will play in their spot and they'll play it well, but not a lot of versatility, right? Going on with those guys. So kind of interested to see how he lines them up or how often he moves them around. I feel like he'll just leave them in their spot because they're good at their spot, right? Yeah. I don't see a ton of like they'll play somewhere else kind of thing or you know, go drop into like you can't drop Billings into coverage kind of thing, right? Like disguise that he's just not that player. So
yeah. Interesting.
But it'll be interesting to see how he uses that personnel. It'd be interesting to see who he keeps at training camp. You know, it's like a fresh slate for everybody. Ben Johnson was raving about Dominique Robinson, who's like, I thought was on the chopping block. You know, was drafted. He had like 2.5 sacks or 3 sacks in his first game ever. and then like never had one after that, or like, had one more after that. So I thought he was on the bubble, but Ben Johnson seems to like him, and Dennis Allen likes him. Maybe they've unlocked something there.
Yeah, I mean that goes to I think a clip from a couple weeks ago where we were talking about just like basically it's like a blank slate for everybody. You know that there are some
Yeah.
of your people who are like,
Yep.
basically secure. Even rumors of like Cole Kmet and the Steelers and all that stuff that's floating around now. But there's like this
So
like
many rumors.
yeah, so many rumors. But it's new coach, new eyes, new system. I mean
Yeah.
the big sort of from reading this article, my big takeaway is like just the impact of Dennis Allen's approach
Yeah.
in that, I mean, I know Tibbs just got fired, but in that, like someone that can elevate people to a higher level based on the scheme and the structure that they build is kind of what got me as I was reading this article pretty jacked up about just the like, him as our defensive coordinator and what we might be putting out there. Given a defense that was like, pretty good. They had
I mean, yeah, and like I know I bagged on Flus a little bit there, but he's a good defensive coordinator, man. Like the defense was humming. Remember when we did the pulse of the people? It was like, man, that defense is like elite. It's
yeah,
like
they look great.
I even used the word elite, right? Then they broke during the Commanders game and all hell, broke out. But like I think a lot of that was because Flus was just too overwhelmed as a head coach and couldn't get his side of the house. I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't elite fine, right? I
Yeah.
think the same thing happened to Dennis Allen in New Orleans, right? I think they were fine defensively early, and then once the season starts unraveling, you as a head coach are trying to just bail water, and you don't have time to maybe focus on or hone in on your craft.
Yeah.
And so your side of the house starts suffering too, because you're trying to deal with all this other chaos. So I think that same thing that maybe happened to Flus, maybe happened to Dennis Allen. I think the Cowboys defense is going to be pretty good with Eberflus there.
Yeah.
Because I do think he's a pretty good DC. So, yeah, be interesting to see.
It does. Yeah, I mean, I think we have this because yeah, I think that yeah, it does put a stink on what Eberflus did with the defense, given everything that went down. And
Yeah,
yeah, I think we got a lot of nice parts. I mean, yeah, it would have been. I like what we got. I'm excited to see what this man and the scheme. I don't know much about Dennis Allen other than reading this stuff and kind of little things here and there to see it like man scheme up. I mean, I'm just gonna read you the final verdict of this Vicky article because it really kind of like struck with me. So it says now Allen gets to do what he does best: call defenses without managing the chaos of head coaching. With Chicago's
Yeah.
young, aggressive secondary and some twitchy edge pieces, the Bears might be the perfect sandbox for this blitz-happy brilliance. Expect disguised coverages, slot corners blitzing. Expect opposing QBs waking up in cold sweats before playing against Chicago. Dennis Allen doesn't need elite talent. He is the talent, and the league's about to get another reminder. That makes me pretty excited about
Yeah.
this defensive man.
And that's like the thing with Dennis Allen is like what I've read too is he doesn't need first rounders or blue chippers on his defenses to turn them around. In like 2 years, he took that Saints defense, which was garbage, and turned him into a top 10 unit without a lot of blue chippers. It's just like he can turn these guys and find their strengths and put them in different positions to be effective. So I am actually really excited to see how he lines people up. Who he decides is going to be on that 53-man roster will give us a nice idea of like maybe what he's trying to do.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I guess there's still this, going back to what we talked about last week, which is like, well, if Caleb Williams doesn't work out, it sounds like Ben Johnson's going to be here for a while. And so it's sort of the
Yep.
same thing with like, it seems like Dennis Allen has sort of established his.
Yeah.
And so like what the defense looks like today and what they look like, maybe by the end of the
Yeah.
year or like beginning of next season, it's like,
But I was telling you, I think I've said this on several podcasts ago. Dennis Allen has been a head coach before, twice, and he's gotten fired both times. I don't think he's going to get another head coaching job. I don't. I think he's like Steve Spagnuolo, who's just like now the DC for the Chiefs, and he's been crushing it as DC for the Chiefs because he failed so bad at the Giants. I think if Dennis Allen is good and he's humming along here, I think we have him, for as long as we want him.
yeah.
He's not like we don't have to worry about him getting poached. Then we don't have to worry about Ben Johnson getting poached, which is kind of cool if you think about your offensive play caller and your defensive play caller. Like those guys are here for as long as we want them to be here. The success that they have is I don't want to say irrelevant of that, because maybe Dennis Allen could get another head coaching job. I just don't see it for another couple of years.
Yeah. I guess, that goes back to really hoping that this shit works out then.
Yeah, that's all we can do, right? We just hope this shit works out. Ugh.
Any other like notable Bear stuff that's come across your way? The rumors of, I'll just quickly touch on when I've, the rumors are rumors, but seeing the Cole Kmet rumors of like him being traded to the Steelers and all this other shit, it got me thinking about like, one, they're rumors, but like for Loveland to come into a situation where there's a tight end that's been around in the league that could show him the way, like, we've been talking about Caleb needing like a little bit of a guidance to elevate his game, and Eberflus kind of sending a response on, yes, I did watch videos with him, and
clap back.
Then saying, maybe, I don't know if Caleb responded, or they're like, well, maybe they watch video, but he didn't show him how to watch video. But the value of, Cole Kmet on this team, to guide this young gentleman, and also I guess Ben Johnson's 12, what's it called, 12 personnel.
Yep, 12 personnel.
12
2
personnel
tight end
package.
sets. He loves to run those. I think you're going to see those two on the field quite a bit.
Yeah.
I really do. I think they have different skill sets. They complement each other. That's why you can have them both on the field at the same time. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how he runs this offense. See, we're talking about the offense again. We were supposed to focus on the defense. We're talking about how excited we are about the two tight ends.
In many ways, I kind of feel like, going into like beginning of last season, the defense was, I feel like there wasn't like, the defense was pretty good. We felt good about it.
It was pretty good, and they were winning the early camp battles, as you expected them to, and then they were carrying Caleb and our team for a little while, right? Yeah. Until it clicked halfway through the Rams game, and we're like, we got it. And then it totally fell apart on both sides of the ball, right? After they gave up the Hail Mary, they come back the next week and give up a long touchdown run at the end of the half. And you're like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah, it looked so
absolutely fell apart.
It looked so different from the beginning of the season. But I feel like it's almost like the question isn't really on the defense. It's more like how good could they be? And like, well, Sweat really do what he did before. But it's like, it's almost like we aren't really that worried about the defense. Sort of, there's always a worry, but like, I kind of feel like they're probably going to.
I think it's kind of like the way the NFL is, right? Like, I can't think of a lot of teams where I'm like, oh yeah, but their defense. I mean, except for like Cincinnati, they can't like figure out how to pay Trey Hendrickson. I'm not like, oh yeah, oh man, that defense though, I'm worried about that. Like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
It's almost like, yeah, I guess they're fine. They have Joe Burrow. It's fine, like they'll figure it out. So that's the kind of league that we live in. It's like the defense is there, and as long as you're average to like, if you're top, half or whatever, top third, you're like, okay, we got a chance at this.
Yeah. Any final Bears thoughts? Any other things that have kind of?
No, just getting to mandatory training camp, seeing who's there and what they're gonna do. Like I was predicting they didn't make any major moves between now and then, and I wouldn't expect anything until camp cuts and seeing if somebody becomes available that the Bears might want to snag. But no, other than that, if you watch a lot of the talking heads, they're all over the place on the Bears. PFF loves the Bears. If you ever want to go check out PFF, they've got and I put an article about this on Tap Sportsnet. They've got 2 Bears on their 2025 all breakout team. And so they've created it like a team, right? So you get your like quarterback, your running back, your like 2 wide receivers, your offensive lineman. And they had 2 Bears on there. So can you guess which 2?
Caleb.
Yeah.
And Romo Dunze.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Those
are the 2 they predicted to have a breakout.
Me the link before this question.
Oh, I did send you the link, didn't I? You could have rolled with it, man.
Okay, so before we get out of here, then the question that people have been wondering about, I've been getting texts about it, tweets about it, DMs about it. So you and I were out this weekend with a bunch of people celebrating your missus's birthday. And I left a little bit before you. My question to you is, did you end up at Taco Bell at 3 in the morning?
This is a yes and no situation.
Okay.
So yes, ashamedly to the first part of your question. No, it was not 3 o'clock in the morning this time that we were responsible. We were at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I do have to say, me and the missus were the last two standing from everybody at the party. We went to Taco Bell. The next morning she she had her like little backpack thing, and she's like, "Why are there like 30 Taco Bell sauce packets in my backpack?" Like, did we go to Taco Bell? I'm like, "Oh, did we?" I don't know why we have so many sauce packets. I guess we decided to steal them or whatever. But yeah, we have a lot of extra Taco Bell sauce packets now in our house.
So if any of you listeners want some signed Taco Bell packets by the Bears in
I
the
will sign it for
neighborhood.
you. Yeah, official sauce packet of Bears in the Neighborhood.
We'll do some raffles in the coming weeks.
We only have fire and hot though, so hopefully. My mom was excited because she spent the night because she was watching the boys. She's like, "Oh wow, I'll take some of these," and I'm like, "Yeah, you will. I'm sure you will."
Shout out moms and their resourcefulness. No package goes to waste.
Shout out moms of the neighborhood.
Social media.
Yep. Find me on X at smpatel06. That's my Insta as well. That's where I post this pod and all the articles that I write. So check me out there. And the articles you can get at ontapsportsnet.com.
Badass. I'm at Mr. Rathod's Neighborhood on Instagram. For Samir Patel, I'm Chirag Rathod. We are the Bears in the Neighborhood, and we will catch you all not next week, but the week after July 1st, as some of us will be on vacation.
I am Disney cruising it up.
We are your
and I will
weekly
not
insights.
be recording from the Disney cruise. Otherwise,
No.
I'm pretty sure I'll get in trouble. I don't even know if I'm allowed. I don't even know if I can do that.
Yeah, they really are explicitly against recording on boats.
Maybe do a live show.
Mickey as a guest host.
Yeah, why not? What do you think about the Bears, Mickey?
I'll catch y'all in 2 weeks.
All right, see ya.